I'm going to do 3 tarp setups today. You'll need a 3x3 meter tarp, 2 trekking poles, a few pegs and a few guy lines. The first one I'm going to show you is the tarp tent. Just open up your tarp, peg it down in case it blows off on you. So where you want the rear of your tarp, you're just going to peg out 1 loop in on each corner. I'll take that out, that was just to stop it blowing off on me. And then you can just give it a little pull on this side, just to get it kind of taut around here. And then all you do with this, you just tuck that underneath. So you're going to do the same thing on this side. Just give it a little pull so that it's taut along here. Stick in your peg, give it a little pull, and stick your peg in there. And you do the same thing, just pack in the fabric in there. So you should have this kind of shape. So you just want to give that a little pull so that it's nice and tight along the side. Just give that a little pull, and what you do then is take this corner, holding that where it is, and just put that loop in that position, and then peg that, and that will give you your angle for the side. You do the same thing on the other side. Now at this point your tarp should look something like this. So what you want to do next is get a guy line and stick it into this little loop here in the center. It'll just save you a bit of hassle later on. So you want to have a peg at the ready, so just leave that to one side. Your trekking pole should be set at 125 centimeters. So you want to make sure that you get it in the center line. I would go kind of halfway between these 2 loops. If you don't have these, it's about a foot in, thereabouts. So what you want to do then is just make sure your pole is nice and straight. So that looks pretty good to me. This isn't going to go anywhere now that it's there, but to be safe, just get this pegged out. That's nice and taut there now, and that pole won't go anywhere. So your next step then is to attach a guy line onto these. Just pull that back, loop it onto the rear peg, and just tension it up. So you're just going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So that's the tarp tent all set up. I can sit up fairly straight in it. If I was going to sleep in here, I'd probably sleep across the back. So the next setup that I'm going to do is a classic A-frame. What you're going to need is 2 trekking poles, 2 guy lines, and a minimum of 6 pegs. Now you can use extra pegs, just like the rest of the setups. The tarp tent, you probably could have pegged out the sides a bit more and got a little bit more room inside. So it's up to yourself. This is a nice easy one to pop up, so we'll get cracking at this. Use the pegs to tension it up and get a nice square shape on it. So just pull out your pegs. These are only to help you get everything straightened up. So you're going to bring this loop over to this position. Just take out your peg there. Be careful not to move this one, and just bring your loop over. You don't have to pull it tight or anything like that. Just get it in the same position and stick in your peg. We're just going to do the exact same thing again. So with all the tension gone, this one's a little bit different. So all you do is you pull out your loop, get nice and straight here and straight up the side, and then just stick an extra peg just into that position and leave that peg there for the moment. Just pull it tight, pop in your peg, and now we're back to the same as the other side. So you just take this peg out, bring your loop over, pull out your peg and pop it into that corner loop again in the same position. So you just do the same on this corner. Pull out your peg, grab your loop, bring it over, pull out the peg, and that's it. So we're going to insert the trekking pole now. The first thing I do is put the guy rope on and have a peg ready. My trekking pole, I have it set at 135. You can adjust this once it's in. If you want to have a lower roof and a wider space inside, lower down the trekking pole and spread out the pegs. Once it's up, you can mess around, get it tensioned up. You're going to the center loop, just pop it in there. So what I'll do is I'll pop in this, just get it nice and straight. What I'll do now is I'll guy it out. So I've obviously picked the worst day to do this video, but you'll get the gist anyway. I'm on a hill and the wind's blowing right up and hitting the side of the tarp. It's not the strongest setup anyway, but it is one of the easiest. It's 3 meters long, but I'll lie down in it for you anyway. So you definitely get 2 adults in here. Like I said earlier, if you wanted, you could add more pegs in, which I would advise. For the next tarp setup, all you're going to need is 6 pegs, 1 tracking pole and 2 carabiners. The carabiners are for the doors, but I'll show you those later on. So to start off, you peg the second loop in on each side. You're coming to the second loop again. Just get a little bit of tension on it there. So next, just set your pole to 125 centimeters, pop it into the center loop and raise it up until this side is nice and tensioned. The only thing you're going to need here is a guy rope, a bit of string, an elastic band, whatever you have, and 1 peg. So just pop your pole into the center, bring your elastic band or your guy rope, whatever you have, and you just raise it up. So when you're happy that you have your pole in your center point, get your bit of string, just tie it around there. It's just going to help you keep the pole in place while you peg it out. Make sure it's taut just on this side. And what you're going to do is you're going to find the center loop for the other side and peg that out. So once you have this pegged out, you can take off that loop at the top. The next step is to peg out the loops either side of the center. So you want to get them fairly taut on the side. So you're just going to remove the center peg because you don't need it. There's two pegs on this side, 2 on the other side, and there's 1 either end. So I'll show you those now. So this is where you're going to need your carabiner. It's just to join the 2 loops. So all you do is you find your center loop and you go 1 loop either side. So grab this loop, grab the other loop, and the carabiner is just going to join them. Now if you don't have 2 carabiners, you can just stick the peg straight through the center of the 2 loops and that'll hold it just as well. It just won't be as easy to get in and out. And all you do then is you stick the peg through, pull it back, and get it nice and tensioned. And when I tension up the other side, that's going to all pull together real nice. So you do the same thing again here. Get your center, grab the loop either side and just peg them together. Put your carabiner in there and then that'll hold down just like that. You have these excess bits, just tuck them in. So what you want to do then to get the tension just here, just move all your pegs, just to go around and make little adjustments. You just pull it out there. That'll get that nice and taut, and it's nice and taut on the side. So just work your way around and do that. So all you do on the door is you just click off 1 loop off the carabiner and that opens up and you can go on inside. It's a pretty decent space. So once you're in, you just grab the loop and just click it onto the carabiner. The problem I have with this setup is these, but if you had a little clip just to hold them back and tidy them up, you know, wouldn't be a problem. So this is the sort of size you're dealing with inside. I'm 6'2" again, and I can almost lie completely flat. The only thing I find with this one is it's a bit claustrophobic because obviously when the doors are closed, you're really enclosed. All the way around, it's solid walls, so it's really good in high winds. It's a nice tarp setup. There is something I want to do with it. It's possibly another setup, I'm not sure, but I'll do it there now and you can have a look at it. I've never done it before, so it's just something I want to try. So this is my idea. For this you're going to need a trekking pole, 3 pegs and a guy rope. I hope. I've never tried it before. I just thought of it. So I'll just unclip this. I won't need that anymore. And what I'm going to do is do 125 on this. Just like a little bonus one for you. grab a guy rope, stick your pole in the center, and I'd say somewhere there so that this can come down a bit, because if you have it right at the edge, I'm sure it'll probably slip out. So put your guy rope through here. Be a little bonus one for me as well. Teething problems. So have the guy ropes out, we'll pop the pole back in and see if we can do it. So get your pole pretty straight, something like that. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to peg out the corner loops. I have to say that looks fairly sexy now. I suppose you'd call it an A-frame. Maybe someone knows, maybe I've stumbled upon something, but it's gigantic. I'll just show you. Like, it's absolutely massive. Again, you could tie that back. I didn't change anything other than one end, so that's all enclosed. So if the wind was coming from the back, it would be brilliant. Definitely fit 2 people in here, 100%. Like, I have a good, I probably have 2 foot there, 1.5 foot maybe. So I'm pretty much in the center here. I can sit up perfect. It's really good. It's massive. It's absolutely massive. Wouldn't say it'd be great in the wind now if the wind was coming this way. If the wind was coming that way, I'd say it'd be alright. You could probably put another few pegs in, maybe guy out the 2 loops. So I'm going to leave it here now, so thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!